I've often wondered about my ancestors. Not the ones you would find on any family site, but rather my ancient ancestors. As someone with nearly complete German DNA, with the smaller parts being Scottish and Welsh, I find myself wondering about my ancient brethren, what they looked like, what they ate, what their day to day life was like, and more importantly, how they shaped who I am today. This led me down a strange rabbit hole of research and discovery, and it is what inspired me to make this speech. As someone who thoroughly enjoys history, especially European history, I was eager and willing to dive into this convoluted subject. In this short presentation, I'll explore the history of the prehistoric humans all the way up to the modern day Western civilization. We will cover all the main groups that have contributed to the genetic pool of the modern day European. Early humans in Europe. The Augnacious culture is the earliest evidence that we have of humans in Europe. They entered Europe through the Balkans in around 45,000 BC. They officially formed their culture in what we now know as Western Europe, like Germany, France, Spain, places close to that. The first evidence of art, tools, instruments, and shelter in Europe were from the Augnacious culture, and some of the first evidence ever of spiritual practices and symbolic thinking were from the Augnacious culture in Europe as well. After that, we have the Gravettian culture. We have evidence of them with things like Venus figurines and fertility cults, further symbolizing a expansion of spiritual and creative thinking. They have semi-permanent structures, like kind of seasonal homes that they would go to. They have an increased social organization, and they had a huge advancement in art, and they were around 33,000 BC. Next, we have the Solutrean culture. These guys had huge advancements in tools, especially stone hunting tools, and they were cold climate masters as they lived through the height of the Ice Age. They shaped the start of civilization, of Western civilization, with their spiritual and societal customs. Obviously, they're not directly seen today, but the roots of Western society can be found in what the Solutrean culture started. They were in Western Europe, especially France and Spain, around 22,000 BC. That covers all of the main hunter-gatherers. There's a lot of branching off in smaller groups, but those are the main three that are significant to the story of modern-day Europeans. After that, we have migrations from the outside world. The first being the Anatolian farmers from Turkey, and they grew crops like wheat, barley, lentils, and peas. They raised animals like sheep, goats, and cattle, and they were originally from the Fertile Crescent, and they arrived in the Balkans. Initially, they had low intermingling with the native hunter-gatherers, and they arrived in around 7,000 BC. After that, farming spreads to all of Europe, and around 65,000 or 6,500 BC, the Starkevo-Koros Kris network formed. It was a network of three civilizations: the Starkevo, the Koros, and the Kris, and they were around the Caspian Sea, Baltic region. And then you also had the Ertebello people appearing in northern Germany and Denmark, and the Cartolware people appearing in the Mediterranean coast, the Vinca culture appearing in the Balkans, and the Funnel Beaker culture appearing in northern Europe. So as you can see, farming has now spread all over Europe, and it is the main way of life of the European. Next, you have the Yamnaya arriving in Europe in a mass migration from the Pontic Caspian steppe. They kind of were their own thing, and they developed their own culture by themselves. They were the first humans to ride and domesticate horses, and they are now known as the first people to use and invent the wheel. They were the father to nearly all European languages, and they first interacted with the corded ware people of Europe, but soon reached Central, Western, and the Mediterranean. They have substantial genetic contribution to the genetic makeup of modern day Europeans. So as we can see, there are three main groups that make up the genetic makeup of modern day Europeans. Many Europeans have around 40 to 50% Yamnaya DNA and around 30 to 60% Anatolian farmer DNA, and only around 10 to 30% European hunter-gatherer DNA. I think it is important to be able to study and understand your ancestry. Not only your ancestry, but about the cultures, myths, and way of life of your ancestors. In researching people who came to make who I am, I have gained a sense of comfort and empowerment in my lineage, and I encourage everyone to do the same. Thank you for your time. Yeah, that's good.
So, you don't need to film me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Craig's audience.